I'm Jay.
I'm Adrian.
And together we are the
Two Crazy Cat Ladies.
I'm gonna cut you.
I think I just peed.
Buckle up. We're back in the closet.
Welcome to another episode of Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. And tonight we are joined by someone that this is his first time on our platform. And we are very honored and excited to have Mr. Rob Ryan here with Gussy's Gut.
Oh my God. So I don't know if any of you guys know this very handsome gentleman yet. But we had the extraordinary pleasure of getting to meet with you last year. You really blew our minds on what it is that you do, how you do it, why it's important. So many things about fermented grains that we've literally never even considered or even knew. So tonight, would you start off by letting everyone know who you are and how and why you are changing this beautiful world?
And if you could add in this exciting new product that you just launched.
Okay, awesome. So, well, I saw that you ladies were having a little beverage, and it is
right.
Yeah, it's my time. It's 7 p.m. So
well past 5 p.m. somewhere.
It is. Yeah, I have a little New Belgian IPA that I love.
Nice.
Cheers, good sir.
I've got wine. Adrian's got
a little old fashioned.
Good
well,
beer.
Yay. Well, hello everybody, and ladies, thank you for having me on. And so I'm a so a couple things had converged. I started Gussy's Gut because I'm a long time, first and foremost, dog lover. Been just really attached to my dogs since a very, very young age. Always trained my dogs. I had trained dogs by me at the age of 8. My communication with dogs came very naturally to me. I grew up around a lot of cats. I never had cats growing up. And I just came to absolutely, I remember when I had friends that had cats, I remember going, these things are so cool. Like, why didn't I ever have these growing up? And then I had a neighbor, gosh, this is like 10 years ago, that had the first time I'd ever been in person with a Maine Coon. And he was chill and he was very beautifully always brushed and clean and awesome. And he was just like a part of the furniture, and he was just chill, like, come over and pet me. And I fell in love with him. I would have taken him in 5 seconds. And I had two black lab and a yellow lab at the time, Buddy and Owen, before I got Gus. And so anyway, I'm so happy that as a company, we're able to come out with a product that serves the most amazing, pet in the world, cats, with dogs. Dogs are in the same category.
Yeah, I mean, you've been doing a lot of revolutionary things for a long time. I'm just going to skip to the fun part. Sorry.
You see, I told you, they will go crazy. So she just opened our drawer. That's Friday. She opened our drawer. Now she's digging out all of our white socks.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. The black cat's digging out the white socks. That's hysterical.
There's something to that, I'm sure. We brought this beautiful bag with us. I'm just going to jump to the cool thing, but I want to do the big product reveal. This is
grasses and sprouts.
Grasses and sprouts. But this is, I want to show people the top of the bag, because I think that a lot of people think, well, cats are not going to really enjoy it. This is awesome. The most palatable additions to their diet we have ever given to our cats. So when we talk about grasses and sprouts, let's go back a little bit, because how you got on this journey, and then lead us into the product and its benefits and why it's such a game changer.
Yeah. Well, first, let me mention, because you showed the product, why we call it youthful grasses and sprouts. Well, first of all, it was a bit of a mistake for me to name the product that, because it's just a mouthful. And like, Julian support has to type every time youthful grasses and sprouts every time in support.
Damn you, Rob Ryan.
Yeah. So, but we call it YGS. So for short. Okay.
Nice.
So if you go to gussysgut.com/YGS, you'll get there. The reason it's called youthful is grasses and sprouts are both very young, and we pick them at the peak of their growth, so they have their highest growth factors. And that's what intrigued me about creating this as it's our third product. It's our second powder product. Our second product technically is our treats, but in terms of a powder product that you give for nutrition and gut support, it's our second powder. So what intrigued me is, number one, doing that kind of a product where the life force, it's picked at the prime of its life force, and then it's fermented. And I guess you could say fermentation, what it does, it's almost like freeze drying. It sort of freezes in time all those nutrients, and then it pulls them out. It allows them to be more accessible. And our veterinarian, Dr. Billinghurst, is the dog and cat expert. He has dogs and cats. He is I think you could safely say he is, if you Google him, you'll find he's the father of raw food.
He's like the godfather of the holistic pet health industry is what I describe him as. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was really like, when everybody was saying kibble, 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 he was saying no, 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 no. And he was the first nutritionist for dogs and cats. And what he said was very simply, there is a biological programming of millions of years of the way dogs and cats differently have eaten their whole lives. And now you can't scroll for 5 seconds without finding a pet nutritionist. They're everywhere. Right. And there's very different schools in pet nutrition. So if you want to know where I fit in the nutrition camp, you'll just go look at who I associate with, and that's Dr. Billinghurst. And so this is a biologically programmed appetite that dogs and cats have for fermented foods. Yes, cats are obligate carnivores. Yes, cats do eat grass and herbs, and we know all this stuff already. And you also do not need very much at all of our product. I mean, we're talking like 1/8 of a teaspoon or something, per day for your cat. So it satisfies what essentially is like the gut contents of a mouse or a bird or, you name it. So that's what we do. And then we optimized it. So it's maximal health. I like to say this: if your dog or your cat ate a really crazy healthy rabbit or bird or mouse, that's what would be inside their gut.
It's exactly what it would be. Like that fermentation is the part of, when people talk about the mouse as the cat's perfect diet, right? They are getting those greens in the contents of what that creature was intended to eat.
And I know, and I don't know if you know, but when we started out in this in this industry, well, just in cat health specifically, it was or has been a very big, it's still controversial thing that cats do not need vegetables. You never give cats vegetables. They lack the enzymes needed to break them down and all this stuff and things. And they're looking at it on a completely different level on
like feeding cats, peas and potatoes.
Right.
Right. That is true.
We agree. We agree with like your cat doesn't need potatoes. We agree on that. Unless they do sometimes a little bit of sweet potatoes if they have IBD, there's certain things. There's certain cases. However, when it comes to our cats, especially our indoor cats, which most of our community, and most cat parents nowadays have their cats that are strictly indoors. And we're trying to feed them the best foods. And a lot of times, when it comes to a raw diet, that's a prey model raw diet. So they're not getting any of those nutrients that, listen, if they were in the wild, they would get, if they were in the healthy wild, they would get some of these. But if we deprive them of this, then we're just telling, it's like us saying vegetables are unhealthy. No, they're not. Grasses and sprouts are like we could give them nutrients that they otherwise wouldn't get, that will boost their overall health by using something like this.
I want to say something real quick, and I want to then love it over to you for this. You said something like if cats were out in the healthy wild,
right?
In
like the actual wild, not in Las Vegas.
Right,
like they wouldn't get a lot of grass.
It is something that you actually have to discuss with cat owners that are leash training their cats, or they get outdoor adventures. Think about it. Does your HOA use pesticides on the common area?
Right.
When we're talking about that, which makes me, when we're talking about how you take these youthful grasses and sprouts and turn them into this powder, I think a lot of people are scared of grasses and sprouts from where. Talk to us about your sourcing and talk to us about your harvesting, because I feel like that was that moment that brain cells just started exploding when we talked to you last year. Take it away.
Yeah, about the sourcing.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the fun things, so I've dedicated my whole entire rest of I'm 53 now. I was an entrepreneur since I was 14. I've decided 3 years ago when I turned 50, I started Gussy's Gut, that I was dedicating the rest of my business life to pets, to animals. Yeah. And it's what gives me the most fulfillment. It gives me the most joy. Could I be making money selling something else? Probably.
Probably a lot more money.
We all could.
Right.
Yeah. And so, I get to meet people like you guys and many others that we know and we have in common. And you're just around great company and great people, great hearts. I have a friend that says hearts speak to hearts. And I believe that. And when I go even to a super zoo show or global, and I do not like them, big shows, they zap my energy, but I can do much more than another show, even the introvert that I can be, because the people I get to meet. And I have been so fortunate to be able to have a personal, friendly relationship with great minds, great people. Dr. Billinghurst. We have a walkie-talkie app that we're constantly sending messages to each other on all sorts of issues outside of business, the state of the world and different things about personal people, nutrition, and on and onward. I've gotten to hang out with incredible vets like Bob Goldstein and Marty Goldstein. I've gone on the golf course with Marty Goldstein and had dinner with him. And it's all of this stuff is where I choose to be. And it's just amazing to be able to listen to these people and their minds. And part of that is the quality of food that I personally eat and consume. And that's I call it the lowest bar and standard is organic. And then you can go up from there, depending on whether you're talking meat or vegetables, grass-fed and regenerative and biodynamic. So I should say organic, grass-fed, biodynamic, and regenerative. And that woven into that is the whole philosophy of not only what nutrients are brought into the food that is created on that property, but it's also how the planet is rejuvenated and cared for, and the soil is resupplied with all the things that it needs, the nutrients it needs, and not stripped. Wow. So it's a huge philosophy there that I won't take too much time up on, but I'll just know that regenerative is my peak. We're still quite a ways away from fully being able to source from regenerative just because of just the access of it.
Okay.
But we started organic and we go up from there. So if you look at our dog treats, they are regenerative white oak pastures pork. That's heritage pork. So heritage genetics, meaning really pure and really high quality. In fact, we use heritage Iberical pork, which is, if anybody is, a finger lifter, the best charcuterie in the world is if you have pork on that dish, it's usually Iberical pork, and it's all regenerative. They live the best lives. If you go to our page for our treats, I've been on the ground with the pigs and seen exactly how everything operates.
Wow.
Our vegetables we create for our treats are just completely unique. And then we have Manuka honey. Now, I know those are dog treats. I just wanted to bring that out. Like, that's the level of care we bring to dog treats.
Right.
And so when it comes to our powders, we look at the most high density ingredients, number one, that are vet selected by Dr. Billinghurst. And then we look at where is the best quality of that ingredient, minimal organic, that we can buy to make this product. And then we make it, and we ferment it, and we package it. And even our packaging is designed for low moisture barrier, low oxygen barrier, so that the product stays fresh and vibrant longer, and uses the least amount of packaging and waste. So we've put a ton of thought into all of these steps.
It's beautiful. I love it. And when we got to talk to you last year and you were telling us all of this, like Adrian said, we were just mind blown. It was like, wow, like everybody would wish to be able to, do something in this manner, and to see you guys actually, putting that much thought and effort into it.
It reminds me.
Go ahead.
Well, it reminds me a lot of, when you talk about sourcing, when you talk about what it means, when you were talking about the little piggies and the life that they were living until they weren't.
Happy dead. That's
right,
the way we want it
right.
for all
and I
animals,
think
right?
Billy
and
Hookman,
people, for that
Billy
matter.
Hookman with Green Juju talks about that as well. Like, sourcing is so important. There's a big difference between an animal that has been raised in horrific conditions, like even nutritionally, right? Like what like with chickens, like the difference in a happy chicken versus some of the atrocious things that we do to these beautiful animals, and then we just call food.
And you
right?
look at the nutrient levels of that, right? Like, and it's the same thing. So like bringing it back, and it is like this omega-6 to 3 or ratio of like these factory farm chickens versus the, organically free range, all that stuff chickens, like their nutritional profile is completely different. Like you can't blanketly say chicken is an inflammatory meat, right? But a lot of it, the overwhelming majority of it is, unfortunately. But some of it is super healthy, right?
It goes into anything, what we humans the energy that we put into, the same with our grasses and sprouts.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
The energy that we put
take
into
glyphosate. You take the greens being grown that are affected by
unhealthy soil,
herbicides and pesticides, and so many things, unhealthy soils, things like that. Like the nutritional profile of these things are completely different. So really, really grateful that you guys came out with this. Also, I'm going to throw out there, just because I've said it just little bits and pieces, and I told you last year.
You guys have to let me talk, otherwise I'm going to drink too much.
Keep drinking. It's always fun. It's always fun.
Wait, jump in, Pinky. What you were going to say? Jump in.
I'm joking.
So we have been to add these fermented greens into our cats. So we've been doing this for years, actually, and we did it using Dr. Mercola's fermented greens or organic fermented something
Are you familiar with the product?
For
I
pets.
am. Is that the one where it's cheese is the number one ingredient?
Yes, cheese is actually the number one ingredient, which made it very palatable for our cats.
Yeah.
But that's the one product that we were using that was
Filling that gap,
and that our cats did not have a problem taking. That if I put it in their food, they were okay with that. Well, last year there was the pet formulator, Dr. Karen Becker, who formulates Dr. Mercola's pet line, had literally, like, they had a breakup. We'll just say that, right? So
Dr.
we'll say it like that. We'll say it like that. But basically, we no longer trust his pet products, and so we can no longer purchase his pet products. And then, so we were looking on how to source certain products that we were using from his line, and then lo and behold, we get an email from you, which was a voice note, by the way. It was amazing.
That was the coolest email.
It was the coolest email we've ever received, still to this day in history.
I left you.
Well, Dr. Mercola sent me. He said you should contact them because they stopped buying my stuff.
I'm glad he's talking to somebody.
And you were telling us about this product that you were making. It wasn't out yet, and you were telling us about this product, and I was like, no freaking way! Like, it was the universe. Not the aliens. It was the universe that brought you to us with this product. And then once it finally came out, you sent it to us. We tried it, and our cats love it. There is no. I was worried, like, just from the look of the label. Even when you're a cat person, you're like, and you've tried different types of greens, and you're like, oh, it's gonna taste or smell a little bit too
healthy.
Yeah,
too
for
much.
Our cats, right?
Yeah.
Cats are finicky. They're not. They're not.
Yeah, and it's got a dog in the logo.
I know people can't really see it on the podcast, but it is this beautiful, very fine powder that is just. It is just
smells sweet.
Fantastic. It does almost smell sweet, and maybe that's why it's so palatable, because cats don't have a sweet scent around their tongue.
Yeah, so
perfect timing.
The funny thing about when we make these products, we have no idea how it's going to turn out until we do it. So we make an investment and then we go, oh, lucky us. And so we started our first product. We added cheese on there. We didn't have that much in there. And we believed that, oh my gosh, like, how many dogs are going to want to eat healthy? Like, most dogs have never eaten vegetables. Turns out that we got rid of our cheese. I actually don't remember now how long it's been. It's been maybe 6 months ago, and no problem. Like, we have like a ridiculously low request rate because of, like, my dog won't eat it, palatability. So it's under 1%, which is crazy.
Nice.
And I think it's because it's not because we're horrible at formulating for taste. Like, that's not what we know or do. Dr. Billingshurst's expertise is not. There's nothing that he's got expertise wise that helps us in that area. So it's really luck, and it's also that dogs and cats intuitively understand fermentation, old, dying, dead or dying or decaying things. They will eat those things. And this just, I think, turns a switch on in them where they go, what? I might want that. And so they are drawn to it very naturally. I think that's one of the coolest things about our products is, I would have never known that this was going to, like, my dogs always, like, they'll eat kale out of your hands.
Right.
But I know most dogs do not. And so when I started this company, I was like, it was really white knuckling it to by the way, we started this company for the first 3 months. I sold a sample bag for $1. That's all we did. And I just was so afraid that, oh my gosh, like, I got to prove that dogs will eat this. Otherwise I can't invest in all this stuff,
right.
And then we started seeing, like, crazy rave reviews and all this, my dog wants to eat more and my dog wants to exercise more. We're like, what? And it just made sense, because if you heal the gut, you can heal lots of things. We never never forward with that, and we have a very big philosophy of under promising and over delivering, and a lot of that has just to do with the magic of the animal.
Yeah.
It's very complicated. How old a dog or cat is, what their history is of, medical history, what their food history has been their whole lives.
Right.
And many people who are rescuing dogs and cats and giving them new homes, and they're lavishing them with great quality toys and food and life, they don't know what happened in their previous life. They have no clue. And so, they develop these conditions, whether it be yeast infections or itching or this or that. The truth of the matter is that they don't have a clue how that came to today, how that got created. So all we really do is we serve this little space of gut health. And it turns out that if you can resolve the issues of the gut, you can resolve a lot of things, even though we're not, we don't sell ourselves as a therapeutic or a treatment of any kind.
Right.
I love. Well, I was going to say, I do love that, you don't make claims, but for people that are just kind of like on the fence of like, is this something that I need to add? What is the benefit?
What are the ingredients? Let's talk about what the ingredients are and what you have learned are the benefits of those ingredients.
Yeah. So, well, we have wheatgrass. Oh, these are all organic. Wheatgrass, alfalfa grass, barley grass, oat grass. So there's 4 grasses. Broccoli sprouts, number 1.
Yeah.
Alfalfa sprouts, number 2. Cabbage sprouts, number 3. What I'm proud of is these are really hard to source ingredients. I mean, it was about, I don't know, I feel like it was, maybe you ladies will tell me, it's about 5 to 10 years ago, you can get wheatgrass at like Whole Foods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can't get it anymore. It kind of lost just its popularity and its fad. And the fact is, it's super nutrient dense. So everything we do is nutrient density, everything. And we pick this balance of nutrients. So for example, if 2 of our ingredients had a very similar, 70% or more nutrient profile match, we would not have that duplicate in there. So we pick them for the widest spectrum of nutrients. And what people like to do is they asked Dr. Billinghurst, well, tell me the ingredients and tell me what each thing does. Well, they're in this drug mindset. It's a very like Western pharmaceutical mindset.
Right.
Food works very, it's like an adaptogen. It works very differently. It adapts within us very differently based on lots of things. Our genetics, our epigenetics, our food, what we're eating, our level of stress, our level of happiness, our environment. So if you took 2 cats that ate the exact same diet, had the exact same type of family, exact same everything, but they lived in different areas, they'd have very different reactions to youthful grasses and sprouts. That blows people's minds when they hear that. So they ignore it and they go, no, just tell me, I want to know the nutrients. I want to know what it does. That's not what we built here. We built something that is 100% natural and assimilates in the body naturally. And the way it lands on every single dog and cat, just be open to the places that it may fill in terms of needs in your dog and cat. And that may sound like I'm dodging a question or trying to like not promise anything. The truth is that if you're open to the magic of what a really good diet can do, whether it be your food for your cat or your treats or a supplementation, you're going to see, if you're observant and you know and love your pet, you're going to see really great changes. I promise you there will be great changes within minimum 4 to 6 weeks. It seems to be the magical period minimum, and then 90 days maximum. So on the really hard cases, older, unwell, getting well animals, it takes up to 90 days.
Right. I love that you're so honest about this, because I do think that you are exactly right. And we've heard it from so many integrative holistic veterinarians. It is a very tough mindset when people are used to giving their cat a pill that takes effect in 20 minutes versus giving their body what it needs to be able to help heal itself. It's a whole different mentality. And I forget exactly what it was that we were talking about with Dr. Katie Kangas, but basically she was talking about exactly that. We're looking at 4 to 6 weeks before the cellular lining of the blah, 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 blah realizes that. And it's like, it's so true. And mentioning as well, especially for our cats, the level of stress impacts their health, our
So
health,
much.
but it impacts their health as well. And realizing that you can use food as medicine
Yep.
is so powerful, but it is in the mindset of a pill for every ill, and you take something and wait for it to kick in 20 minutes. That is a completely different mechanism in your body.
Right. Yeah. And I will say from personally, I am adding this into our cats' food. The 5 very healthy cats. They are all very healthy young cats. Like there are no ailments that they have right now.
Annie's
And
attitude sometimes.
Well, Annie's attitude. I don't think that affects that.
Well, the one has a clear white sock deficiency.
There's that.
We're working
There's
on that.
Yeah.
But
we're setting
being
up counseling.
proactive, right? We recognize the benefits of fermented greens, and we have for a while. And I think that that's something that
and their main raw meal does not contain vegetables or any kind of greens. So adding this in for me as the pet parent is very important because I know that it's an ingredient that their bodies benefit from. So I'm not adding it in there as an alternative medicine. I'm not adding it in there to fix something that they have, like some issue that they have. I'm adding it in there, like she said, proactively, because I know that they're not getting it elsewhere. They have cat grass that some of them nibble on, organic cat grass, but this is like, it's cat grass on crack, right? Like it's like it's all the real good stuff. And they don't have a problem with it in their food, which is
there's
really
there's 2 things I'll just mention. People might say, well, why fermented? Why do you need to do it? Well, number one, it's biologically appropriate. It's what their millions of years has taught them that they can eat and should eat and all that. But the reason that I think fermentation is first so important is it breaks down the plant walls. I mean, these are plants at the end of the day. It breaks down the plant walls to access the nutrients inside. If you were to put the exact same ingredients in youthful grasses and sprouts raw, if you could shop for them and find them and then blend them up, your cat or dog, it's meant for both, would access most vets. And I think Katie actually agrees with me on this, if I remember right. I brought this up to her. 5, if you're lucky, 5, if you're really lucky, 10% of the value of that ingredient. So, you spent $25, you're going to get $2.50 worth of value out of that.
Right. At best.
It's kind of sad. And then, you think you're doing all this good stuff and you're not. And when it's fermented, it's almost like it's been pre-digested. So when it hits the gut, it's more accessible. And most vets that we've talked to, from Marty Goldstein to, I could name a bunch, and Dr. Billinghurst, of course, have said it could be 15 to 30% access to the thing that's fermented. So we choose those so that for the nutrient profile. And that last thing I'll just say is we do a horrible job of selling the benefits, and we're working on this. I got introduced to a gentleman who owns a very sophisticated nutrient lab that analyzes thousands and thousands of nutrients on these spectrometer, I think I'm saying it right, spectrometer measuring devices that are like, the tests are very, very, very costly. Only PhDs can operate them. And he took a look at our ingredients and said, look, one of our ingredients, we say there's 180. We hired a medical doctor who knows about nutrition to tell us what's in our first product that we created. And we say there's over 180 nutrients. And this gentleman said, that's ridiculous. It's in the thousands. you're going to find thousands of compounds and enzymes and aminos and on and on and on, not just vitamins and minerals. It goes well beyond that. So these are things that turn on pathways in us to detox, to feel better, turn on hormone pathways. It gets crazy. And I'm not saying that we're some panacea and we're the end all be all and we do everything. We're contributing to a better absorption and more nutrition. That's all we want to play. We want to play that small role in the health and vibrancy and life of your pet.
Yeah. And I would say, I love that you said basically that it's more that fermentation basically makes it more bioavailable to the body. Right. And was it Dr. Katie that said basically it doesn't have to be broken down, right? Like the body doesn't have to do as much work as
to get the benefits.
to get the benefits.
So
older
really
cats
short
would
digestive
really
system.
Yeah.
Where stuff it just moves out more quickly. We can do a lot of great stuff if we start juicing, if we start doing we ourselves, we have a much longer digestive. We'll be able to absorb the things, beneficial things over the course of time. With our cats, it is in and
dogs.
out.
Yeah.
And it is, I love you, Judith. She said a small role. It's vital. Food synergy, exactly. It's incredible when you can actually use science and use the kind of sourcing and regenerative ranching and the knowledge, especially Dr. Ian Billinghurst, oh my God, to really be able to make a product that is a powerhouse. And I love that you're a humble man and don't make a lot of claims. This is one of those things where you got to see for yourself. And if you are lucky enough to have a cat that is not having any health issues like we are right now, just experience the power of proactivity.
Yeah.
It's something that when you go down the rabbit hole and you look at the research and you understand exactly what you're saying right now, the power of fermentation, the bioavailability of it, the benefits of it, the things that we may not know. You can't say, oh, this helps with your lymphatic system and we'll make sure that the pathways of detoxification are kept. You're not going to make those claims, but understand that the body is the way that the body works requires that it gets what it needs. And exactly like Jay said, we add this into our cats' raw, fully balanced diet, because we know that there are not those greens in there. It's not, right. They're not eating the stomach contents of their usual prey.
And you named your company Gussy's Gut, right? Like, cause you're all about the gut health, and that goes for cats, dogs, humans, all mammals. Like our gut health is so important. And it's the avenue to overall health, right? So to prevent things long term, if we have strong, healthy guts, we can avoid so many ailments down the road. And so adding in something like this, like you just said, for us is a proactive way to keep that gut as strong and healthy as possible, and keep our cats as strong and healthy as possible. So thank you so much for creating this.
Thank you.
You may not see yourself as the end all be all for the fermented greens, but we are so grateful you came along when you did. It was perfect timing.
It really was.
Okay, so for everyone, I love that Judith also said 1 teaspoon per 20 pounds. That turns out to be a lot of servings for cats and a big bang for your buck.
Exactly.
Exactly right.
And, and the link to get your youthful grasses and sprouts is in the description here. So you guys, if you want to check it out, go get it. It will last you a long time with your kitties. And like Rob said, just a little bit goes a long way.
And where else can people find you, follow you, be part of this awesome journey that you decided to go on at 50 years old?
We're everywhere on social. Gussy's Gut, at Gussy's Gut, GUSSYS GUT, and then gussysgut.com. And real quick, I see a question about, can you speak to what role fermentation has in histamines is high? So this is one of those big like alerts where everybody who's on this, like scanning the surface for histamine, the H word. Some animals that cannot have high histamine levels, they don't react great to fermented foods, and some do great on it.
Yeah.
So here's the bad news. The best vets in the world that I have talked to and had dinners with that are 3 hours long, they look at me and they say, look, here's the deal. If you have any pet, and these are people who have been practicing over 30 to 40 years or more. If you have a pet that has an issue, I don't care what issue it is, and you say, will my pet, will my dog, will my cat do well on X? Here's the answer. 30% will do great. 30% will do okay. 30% will do poorly. So that's the adventure and the realization that you have to come to, not just with Gussy's gut, but anything.
Right.
So you have to know your animal well enough. You have to monitor your animal and you have to be ready for it to be any one of those 30%. And folks, that is just life.
That is. It
Well
is. Wow.
said.
Very well said. And it's very true. But
It reminds me
the
of Rita
cool
Hogan,
thing, the
the
cool
herbalist.
thing about
Every
using,
pet's an individual.
but
Yeah.
but the cool thing about using even if you're just testing out products that are organically grown and wonderfully sourced, these kind of things, is it's not like taking a pill, a chemical pill that you're chancing is going to fix your cat's arthritis and puts them down dead the next day, right? Like you're not dealing with that. It's a safe testing ability, and you can start with a whisper dose and slowly build up if you have a cat
Oh, I like that.
right,
Yeah.
and then and slowly build up and see, so that the reaction, if there's a reaction, that it's not going to be too overwhelming at first, but I say give it a try.
Yeah, I love that you just said that that's life, and I also don't want that to scare people into
No.
they're going to be they'll go out and they'll try like gabapentin or something for A, B, or C when something right, I mean, because that's more traditionally just accepted, or it's like that's what my veterinarian recommended, and I feel safer trying that, and I feel like I'm going to be able to see results. I think it's so important to give things time. And like you said, it's not always going to be an end all be all, fix whatever issue you're starting with, which is why we like to start things proactively. Our cats are all doing great on it. There's no things that we've noticed. You can't just add 17 new things to their diet because they're dealing with an issue and then be like, oh, well, this one makes, this is causing a problem. Right. You have to do things mindfully over time, one at a time. Right. So this is one of those situations where you do want to give something that is all natural, that is organic, that is biologically appropriate and nutritionally absorbable time to do something and give it that opportunity. I think the patience of people is really what gets in the way a lot of times of letting our pets heal and recover from things that they need to.
One thing being in the business that I could, if I can impart anything, and I'll say a couple of things quick, that if you want to ferment on your own, please do it and take control of every little part of the process. It's not that hard. It's not that hard.
It is not.
If you're busy, it is not.
You can follow Billy.
I did it. That's how I started the company. I did it. And truthfully, I started the company because I was getting frustrated at the end. And I was thinking, well, maybe I could just take my own product if I sold it. Maybe I could help other people not do this. But it's not impossible. And if you have a lot of cats or a lot of dogs or both, you might want to do it. It will make sense. And you control everything. And I recommend that. Okay. So you do not need us, but you should do something that's fermented. And then I'll just say this. I like this quote from there's a philosopher that says, you don't make choices, you live with the consequences. And in life, there is no perfect answer. You can't find it in a company. You can't find it at the bottom of a package of any kind or in a diet. And there's always choices that you make and the consequences you live with. And when you bring up gabapentin, there's a lot of consequences. And you just have to decide if you want to deal with those consequences.
Right.
If, some consequences are liver failure or, worse, and others that are food-based are like, oh, my dog's got gas for 3 days. Do I want to deal with that? Or my cat does, or whatever. And that sometimes can happen with a new vegetable, or a new anything. And so all I'm saying is that there are consequences to every little action. And so it's about like what your buy-in is. I think one of the geniuses of the pharmaceutical industry is they've sold a solution that's, most drugs work pretty well right at the beginning. And so it satisfies that need to be done with the problem that the pet owner has.
Right.
And then the downstream effects are
more drugs.
Yeah. And also things you don't really see, and then you don't attribute, why is my cat going into kidney failure? Like what? Well, because your food is complete crap.
Right.
Or whatever. So these are just examples, but
I love that you just give kind of like the down and dirty of basically what you're saying is do your own research. If you think you can do it better than something you can buy, do that. If you feel like you're comfortable dealing with the side effects that you have researched and are aware of with a pharmaceutical drug, that's your choice.
And do that.
It really is. It's oddly empowering. Like life is full of stuff and things, and there's a consequence for everything. So just do your best. It kind of is that way though. And it is really important for people to recognize. And I think, having people like you on and the people that we learn from, really recognizing that it's what is right for me to make a decision for one of my cats or all of my cats may not be for you and your cats. I feel like it is about recognizing that we are our cat's best advocate, and it's on us to do that research. I can't just go to Rob Ryan and be like, hey, will this fix A, B, or C? First of all, you're going to tell me, do your research. Or can I go to my vet and be like, hey, my cat is, it seems like she's in a bad mood. She's a little agitated at times and likes to be weird. Well, let's try gabapentin. Okay. Right. You have to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yep.
Amen.
Rob's direct talk. It's refreshing. I agree, Judith.
Yeah. I love it so much. That's why we wanted to bring you on. We were so excited about.
This is your first. So for everyone listening, this is Mr. Rob Ryan's Gussy's Gut first product for cats and dogs. So and we've tried it and we really love it. I love that it's way more palatable than I kind of initially thought, just because.
I was scared. It actually took me like a week or so to open it because I was like, the cats are not they weren't liking that specific protein.
Chicken.
They get like a custom meal
chicken
every 2 weeks, and I think it was venison or something at the time, and
so it's like
they were turning their nose up, and I was like, I don't want to put anything else in their food that they might not like. And then I was finally like, let me just try it and see. And there was no complaint whatsoever. They went straight for their food and ate it, and I was like, yes, okay, here we go.
And it's really important for us to let you guys know that something like this, if you guys know about the power of fermentation, if you listen to any of what Billy Hookman says all the time, if you realize that, I think people have tried something fermented before and they're like, oh, hell no, my cat did not like it. I just want to say this is one of the most palatable things we've ever added to our cat's diet. And I really feel like there's a lot of cats that will benefit from you guys just giving it a shot.
For sure. And our cats are, our 5 cats are the testers for these products, right? And you guys know us, you guys trust us, that, we're going to try anything, we're going to test anything, and our cats are going to test anything before we bring it to you. And we're going to get to know the people behind the product as well. And I have to say, there are some really, really freaking fantastic products out there that with some of the best companies, in my opinion, in the world, pet food companies in the world. And we've tested it and our cats won't touch it. And so we can't bring it to you simply because they won't we'll tell you it is a really good product. We've done all the research
technically,
but our cats won't touch it. So good luck. If your cat
like Rob said,
go for it.
Whoever told you that, like this journey that you're on, like deciding to take your entrepreneurial career into really doing what's best for our pets, love that. Because it is the most fulfilling thing, and that hearts do speak to hearts. And it is such a pleasure to get to know you and kind of be part of this first product that you're making for cats. I would not be surprised if you find a Maine Coon somewhere in Tennessee sometime.
I know, right?
I just moved to Tennessee, everybody. So that's what they're talking about.
Yeah. It's possible.
Yeah,
It's possible.
He's in our hometown. So,
Okay,
thank you
anything
guys.
top of mind that we didn't hit on tonight that you want to talk about for Gussy's guy? I know we went.
No, I'm so you're our first cat exclusive cat podcast. We wouldn't have started anywhere else. Duh. And yeah, and so I'm just thankful, because when we reached out to you, you mentioned that we reached out to you, and we did, and then I sent you that message. You said send it to us and let us get back to it. And that was months ago.
Oh my God.
So and we never talked in between, and we just said, hey, like, this is my philosophy. It's the same philosophy I've shared here. If it works, it works. Like, if the cats like it, they like it, and they'll call us and they'll let us know. But I just know that every animal is individual. And so where we focus our attention is in really good quality, from the sourcing to the packaging, and really great standards. And by the way, anybody who orders it, put your finger in, wet it, taste it yourself. It's all 100% human grade. There's all kinds of laws that say we can't say human grade for this and that. It's 100% human grade.
Right.
Okay. Everything the minute I would ever see a sourcing, and I don't think I've ever seen sourcing. I don't look in those areas, but that's like feed grade or animal grade. No. So this is all like, you could put this in a smoothie if you wanted to. I'm not supposed to say that legally. I'm just saying you could if you were crazy, and you'd be fine. But and people ask us all the time if they can take our products themselves. Again,
yeah, I would challenge people to look at that ingredient list and look at what human products are out there that have the kind of sourcing that you do, with the ingredient panel that you have, all of those different sprouts and grasses. I would just say, be crazy.
Here's Zoro. He's rubbing up against it right now.
Like,
he wants it. He's like, give me some. Give me some.
He's our poster child. Our poster child. Okay.
It's an ad.
Fine. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you for making this product. Thank you for making our babies healthier. Thank you for being direct and honest and empowering. You are always a pleasure. And we're going to have to get together for a cocktail night soon.
Yes.
Maybe sometime in Tennessee on our next trip.
There you go.
Well, and I fun fact, I used to live where you live. I used to live there, and next time I'm there, we'll be doing something fun.
Something fun in Vegas. There's plenty to do here.
Bet. Okay.
We love you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all, and we will see you all very soon. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, y'all.